Well, hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Joyful Julie Live. I am Julie Griffin. I guess you could say I'm your host. I'm excited for our guest tonight. We go way back, and she is one of the most genuine human beings you will ever meet. And also, when I think of somebody who is able to identify a dream that they want to go after and actually does it, this is the girl that I think of. So I can't wait to introduce her to all of you, my very good friend and professional rodeo photographer, Roseanna Sales.
Hello.
I wish I had like a drum roll and like cheering noises, and actually there probably is. I'm just not good enough at that yet.
I would die.
No, don't die.
Having problems here.
No,
I would
just
melt.
focus. Just us, just right here. It's just us. So I'm so excited that you decided to come on with me. Obviously I'm partial because I love you because we've been friends since like 7th grade. But I just think you have the most amazing story. And when it comes to setting your mind to something and achieving it, like honestly, I think if there was a dictionary definition, like it should be you. And I just think that's amazing. So kudos to you for that.
Well, thanks. I don't know if I deserve all that, but thank you for that.
I think you do. And my little eyeball on here says we've got a lot of people watching. So if you're here watching, please drop a comment so that we know you're here. We'd love to include you in the conversation. It's a lot more fun when we can involve our audience through the comments. Oh, good. So Brittany Tate is here. I don't know if you've met her. We were WSU friends.
Okay.
Maybe at some point. Brittany, glad you're here. She pops in on pretty regular. Yes, go Cougs. Once a Coug, always a Coug. Hopefully some other people drop comments on here, especially if you're watching from Facebook or any of the other platforms. Please drop a comment. Oh, Andy Alman is here.
Oh, hey.
Hey, Andy. Glad to see you. Another friend from way back. So hopefully people continue to comment. We'll pop them up here and say hi. But I just want to jump right into it. Normally, I usually ask like kind of what your story is and how you got started and things. But I want to switch things up tonight. Like when you popped on screen, like my eyes immediately zeroed in on your background and all your buckles. So let's start there. So tell us about your buckles.
So I honestly, when I first started, I was like, I want to get a buckle. I'm like, how do you earn a buckle? I'm like, do you get one as a photographer? I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so my first year is when I got the NFR and Photographer of the Year buckle.
Mm-hmm.
So those are up there. And so I was trying to get one and I got two. So that was very exciting to me, and two very big, iconic ones. So I never imagined that would happen. But I have a couple. I have a Photographer of the Year one. I've got 3 NFR ones. And there's 3 Ram National Circuit Finals. I'm missing a buckle up there somewhere. And a Circuit Finals buckle. And then a top 5 finalist plaque. That's what that plaque is.
Very cool.
My goal is kind of to earn a buckle every year now. So I've been
very cool,
fortunate enough to do that since I started.
That's awesome. So let's go back to the beginning. Like I know like your photography journey started a way long time ago with, picking up a camera at 12 when we were just kids. And then kind of walk us through what happened after that and what your like defining moment was when you realized that, rodeo is where you needed to be.
Well, like you said, I picked up a camera when I was about 12. I think my parents were just trying to get me to shut up and get out of the house. And so
classic parent move.
Yeah, like get out on the farm and go do something, So I remember I took this, my dad had just cut hay and there was all the rows of hay and the sun was coming down, and I took this picture of our field, and I loved it and ended up turning it into our fair and, our county fair. And I ended up winning grand prize best of selection. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, what? I was like, that's
I
cool.
got it. I got it.
I was like, okay. And then I just really, every penny I would save, I'd save up for some film. And at that point, I really didn't know, much, but I was just trying to figure out camera. And I'd have my brother go out to the back pasture and he'd go on the dirt bike and jump rocks. And I'd try and get action shots and make my cousins model for me and all that good stuff. And ended up going to photography school, wanted to do extreme sports.
Mm-hmm.
Had a professor tell me I would never do it. So I said,
Shame.
watch me. And I knew I wasn't sure exactly which route I was going to be able to go just because I knew I was coming back to Moses Lake after school.
Mm-hmm.
And so extreme sports, it makes it kind of hard. But I, at first, kind of started doing some skateboarding and motocross stuff and then got caught up in the portrait world because that's what was paying the bills. Crazy kids at the skate park don't have money to pay for pictures,
Right. Hold on just 1 second.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Brittany said we had black screen. Wasn't sure if it was on her end or our end. So I was just going to double check and make sure that if anybody else was having issues, if they would say something. But she says it's all good now. So
perfect.
Okay. I just didn't want anybody to miss out on your story. So
okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead and continue.
Pretty much did weddings and portraits for about 10 years and got really burnt out.
I can imagine.
Yeah, our local rodeo kind of needed somebody just to help them get some behind the scenes stuff and shoot. And I begged to be able to do it. And they're like, well, you're not gonna be able to sell anything, not do anything with them. You have to just kind of hand everything over for the committee. So that's fine. I just want to try it out. I've always wanted to try it. And I shot that night and came home and told my husband, like, this is what I need to do. And he's like, okay. I was like, no, you don't understand. Like, I have no idea how I'm going to make any money doing this, but this is where I'm supposed to be. Like, I can just feel it. This is what I need. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm going to figure it out. And he's like, yeah, okay. Like, go.
He's such a good sport.
You go for it. Oh, he is. And so he's like, doesn't want anything to do with it. Just you go do your thing. Yeah. Like, you figure it out. Don't drag me into it. Yeah. Like, don't make me I'm not carrying anything for you. No, he's great. But it was quite the adventure. That was at the end of 2016 in August. And then I shot one more rodeo down the road in Othello that summer. And then I worked on contacting people to see what I needed to do and to you get a permit first. So you have to fill so many rodeos and get a portfolio built and all that. And I researched as much as I could about the industry and kind of what I needed to do and where and, what was okay. And I found out there really isn't a lot of information and not really a lot of people that are willing to give information, which kind of blindsided me. I went in very naive. So any committee that would let me shoot for trade to build my portfolio, and then kind of did that and slept in my car a lot that summer. And
so what was that like, being on the road and kind of learning everything on the fly as you went?
It was hit and miss for sure. And hot and kind of learning how to had the Yukon then, so I kind of had a little air mattress in the back and had my little clothes rack and looked like my this little homeless girl going up and down the road. But I met so many great people doing it like that. And some contestants would even be like, see me at the end of the night packing all my stuff and they're like, where are you staying? And I'm like, right here. And they're like, no, like, we have an extra bed, or we have, no, you're not sleeping in the back of your car. I'm like, oh, I'm okay, but I just ended up building a family out there, and people took me in and were really helpful.
That's awesome.
And yeah, but definitely learned, it pushed me to be creative, because there was a lot of spots I wasn't able to be or allowed to be. So I had to really kind of think outside the box. But
Yep. No, I agree. And yeah, I love Mark. I love it too. She's the definition of perseverance, I think. And it sounds like you had some people who were unhelpful, but also some who were helpful and took you in as well.
yeah, it's definitely a very it territorial kind of,
Okay.
and I understand where some people have come. They've worked really hard to get there and worked really hard to earn their rodeos and everything. And, you know, the way I see it, I'm not trying to take anybody's job. I'm just trying to shoot to get the word out about the industry more and tell the story. And I just happened to get hired by people along the way that liked my eye, and people were saying like, I like this perspective, and I didn't even realize it. I was shooting differently because I didn't know what the traditional shot was. You know, the bucking horse stretched out and all that. I knew that looked good to me, but I also liked some of this other stuff, or I'd kind of dig a little hole in the ground because I couldn't get in the arena, and I'd kind of shoot under the fence and, try and find my little spots. And that's the story. I was like, people sleeping in their cars. I wasn't the only one. These cowboys that have traveled 20 hours to get on for 8 seconds and then go on to the next one. And they're exhausted. They're, hospitality that's huge for these guys at these rodeos, and just so seeing that side of it and that stuff behind the scenes that you don't typically even know about was really intriguing to me. And I think that's what helped me coming from the wedding portrait side. Was I was always in my head trying to tell the story of the day.
Yeah.
And then so when I got to the rodeo, that is kind of how my brain was looking at it, was telling that story. And people are like, this is so cool. Like, we haven't really seen this. Like, and I think that's, why people liked what I was doing.
I completely agree. And I see that because I remember when you first started shooting and sharing your rodeo pictures, that was one of my very first thoughts was, this is different. Like, this is a different perspective. This isn't what you normally see. And obviously I'm a fan anyway, but that was one of the things I thought, this is cool. Like, she is seeing a different side of it. I think probably I would guess that the fact that you didn't grow up in that environment probably was an advantage, because you do have that eye from the portrait world and the wedding world and telling that story, that you do naturally gravitate to different angles and views that people probably typically wouldn't, who have, been immersed in it their entire lives.
And it's not for everyone. There's going to be some people who are about the traditional shots and that's what they like. And I think that's the great part about photography and the art is, somebody's going to prefer somebody's traditional work over my more editorial perspective, and vice versa. I think that's the beauty in it, is we don't all have to shoot the same. It would get so boring, everybody doing the same thing all the time.
Absolutely.
So I think there's room for people and growth, and the industry's changing and this world's changing, and we need to keep up with it if we want to keep the sport of rodeo alive and tell that kind of story. It needs to kind of evolve and can't be stuck in what it has been.
Yep, absolutely. There was a question up here a little bit earlier, and I'm sure we'll get to it, but Carissa asked about your equipment. So this was a thought I had too. When you were making the switch from like weddings and portraits, was there a bunch of like gear that you had to like exchange, or what was that process getting geared up from going from one industry to the next?
I definitely had to get some faster equipment to keep up with the low light, faster pace stuff that I didn't have. So now my primary camera is a Canon 1DX Mark II. That's like my main camera that I use. And then I also have a 5D Mark IV. And I've been shooting video and pictures right now, so I've been kind of learning a little bit on the video side. But I do shoot with both of those camera bodies on most of the time. So I'll have kind of a long lens on one and a wide angle on another so that I can get both situations whenever I'm, that way I can be prepared for either one.
Yeah, I love seeing the video that you've been doing lately too. Like, and I think that
I have a
just,
lot to learn on that for sure. I'm
yeah,
sure video people cringe when they see my video stuff, but give me a little grace. It's definitely all self-taught and on very
yeah.
little time because I don't have really the time to learn it is the
hmm
hard part. So I'm
Yeah.
just kind of
From what I've seen, I think you're doing a phenomenal job.
old
So
trial and error for sure.
yeah, I think that's where, well, everybody has to start somewhere,
Yes.
and nobody is an expert overnight. So I think as with your photography, in a couple years you'll look back and be like, oh, I've come a long way. And I think
Yeah.
that's one of the great things that I've seen you do, and is advice that could be translated to other entrepreneurs, is just start doing it. And
Hmm.
the more you do it, the better you get.
Right. Yeah. Even if it's not, I mean, if you're wanting to shoot rodeo and pro rodeo, if you can't get into pro rodeo, because it is hard as a media to get in without being carded. And I know
hmm
it can be frustrating to try and build portfolios, but there's little local rodeos, amateur stuff, and even just anything with movement. Go
hmm
try and get cars moving at night, and get your timing of different things like that. And that's the biggest part is the timing and figuring out your lighting and
hmm
finding available light when you don't have strobes or learning how to use strobes and rent them. That's what I did. People are like, I can't afford strobes. I can't afford strobes either. I had to rent them and try them out. And when I would get hired for a job, I'd put money to the side for some, but I'd rent a couple strobes and learn to work with them and watch tutorials online and kind of taught myself how to use them that way.
hmm
So,
That's awesome. What is there one like picture that stands out that when you like went back and were reviewing and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I captured this?
um, there's been some shots where I've like gone back through editing and not even realized I caught it at that point because there's just
hmm
so much chaos going on usually. But there's one shot, I didn't send this one to you, but there's one shot of a bronc rider, JR Verzane, at my first NFR, I was shooting behind the scenes, and I got
hmm
him praying on the back of the shoes. Well, that following year, I believe he ended up getting paralyzed. And so
Oh wow.
it was that picture to me was just so, I don't know, it just pulls a lot of emotion to me just knowing the whole story. And he is, talk about perseverance. He is
Yeah.
doing everything to learn how to walk with it's just an amazing story. If you should look him up. But so seeing that kind of come full circle has been amazing to kind of see. But that one just kind of gives me chills when I think about it. Just
Yeah.
you don't know how fast, anybody doesn't know how fast their life can change, but these
Yeah.
athletes especially, they put their lives in danger, every time they get out there. And
hmm
um, I mean, even us as photographers in the arena, it can get a little sketchy. So,
I
uh,
bet. Have
yeah.
you had to bail over a fence or through a
Oh,
fence?
a few. I still, and I got a few few people checking on me a few weeks ago because they thought they're like, did you just get kicked or did your camera get kicked? And I'm like, I really think my camera would have broke if it got kicked. Like it felt like it might have, but I think it just bounced off of the wall. But I kind of got myself. So I always am looking for my escape route.
hmm
Well, I was I kind of knew where I was at, had my escape route planned, and then I had some people kind of getting in my way, like some judges or rodeo clan, whatever, and I kind of just started shifting, and I didn't realize that, like, and kind of got in my head about it, and I was moving. And then all of a sudden there's bucking horse coming at me, and I turn around and I'm not in that spot where I thought I was. So I just went over to that wall and I was like, be skinny. There's not much room to be skinny. And I just was like, and I could feel that wind just whoop, like right next to me. And my camera kind of got knocked. But I really think it hit the wall and kind of bounced in on video. It looked like it got kicked because everyone's like, are you okay? Is your camera okay? You know, and I was like, I'm good. Like I kind of looked through my camera, looked through, and everything was fine. So I just kept going. I was like getting all these texts like, are you alive? I was like, glad my mom wasn't watching that one because she probably would have had a little heart attack. But yeah.
Oh, how funny. Dang.
Yeah.
Well, if that's the only close call that you've had so far, then I'd say you're probably doing
this year.
This year.
Yeah.
Well,
I try to not get myself into horrible situations. You know, I do have 2 girls at home I have to come home to and hopefully be in one piece to, you know, so that they're not taking care of me. But
for sure.
Yeah, there's been some close. I've had a horse coming right at me in Pendleton. There's really nowhere for you to go. If you haven't seen that, it's just all grass and in this field, and it's coming at me, and you're trying to like read the horse to see which direction you're going. And I was just like, and I'm like, hey, and then the horse just went whoosh, and moved, and the pickup man's like, get a little close. I was like, oh yeah, just checking the color of his eyes. I wanted to just checking him out. But it's just, sometimes there's situations that are inevitable, but knock on wood, I've been very fortunate. It's just, probably a matter of time, but
nah, you'll be good. You'll be safe. You'll be safe. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So how, on average, I mean, I guess you've been doing this will be like your 5th summer shooting rodeos?
Yep.
So I guess that's long enough to have an average, maybe. So like on average, how long is rodeo season and for you, and how many rodeos will you travel to?
I average between 15 to 17 rodeos a year. But our rodeo season in the Pacific Northwest is really like the end of May. Like we just had our first one for Columbia River Circuit this last weekend. And then through October is like our circuit finals. But I went down to California and shot a couple of rodeos. I don't get a lot of daytime perfs here. So if I can, I try and shoot some of those little California run. Like I mentioned, you know, having kids makes it a little bit hard, but I have an amazing support system at home. And so, and that's really helpful too. But it's pretty much an all year thing. I get a little bit of November to rest, and then the finals is December. And then January, I kind of sit on my couch and edit for about 15 hours a day, getting things out to people, and then kind of start right back up. February, I was in South Dakota shooting. So
what's kind of February in South Dakota like?
Rapid City is the coldest. Like the wind hurts your face. Like the cold, you come out and it hurts. Yeah. I went to shoot the rodeo, but I also went over to my buddy's ranch to do some video and work on a little, you know, behind the scenes and video on their ranch. And I told him, I said, go ahead, drop me off here while they unloaded this bale. I said, just swing right back and pick me up. And he's like, are you sure? Like, it's cold. And I was like, yeah, that is fine. And it was just unloading around bale, you know, and the unrolled. And he came back in, and I was like, my fingers hurt because I can't shoot with gloves on because I can't move my stuff. So I was like, my fingers hurt so bad. He's like, I told you it was cold. I was like, I know. I was like, it hurts.
Next level cold.
I don't know how they do it. Props to farm and ranchers, because no days off when that weather is like that.
For sure. So what's the farthest that you've traveled for a rodeo?
I guess Florida.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess I did Florida and down to Texas. So, but yeah, Florida from one corner to the other corner.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, looking at my map, I have a little map that I sketch off my where I've gone for rodeo stuff and
That's cool.
but yeah, Florida, Kissimmee, Florida.
Very cool. So,
Yeah.
having shot the NFR multiple times now, which from somebody who's not super familiar with the industry, but a little bit, seems like that's kind of the granddaddy of them all, being able to shoot that. So now that you've done that several times, is there like something else that you've got your sights on?
Yeah, I'm actually working on a coffee table book. So
Very cool.
yeah, that's kind of my big project I'm trying to work on. And I'm also wanting to make an ebook for people trying to get in the industry or, you know, kind of not necessarily PRCA,
Mm-hmm.
Professional Rodeo Cowboy Association, if you don't know what that is. But just in the whole rodeo world
Mm-hmm.
of, so I would like to kind of work on like a little ebook of little helpful hints, stuff that I was so lost and naive and wish I had somebody to help me and give me some information. And I felt
Mm-hmm.
like, I kind of walked in with, oh, cowboy way, everybody helps everyone. And I got
Yeah.
one of the first rodeos I showed up to, I got to, this is my rodeo, little girl. And I was like, okay. I was like, but is this a rodeo? I'm like, is this how this works? I'm like, I'm confused. I don't know. But I was like, oh, all right. So we're not doing this. But so that was an eye-opening experience for sure.
I bet.
But yeah. But I don't like to be told no when I know it's something that's not right to be told no
Mm-hmm.
to.
Yeah.
Um, and then I realized there was a lot of other people that were like, I had so once you are an NFR photographer or photographer of the year, um, you can help other people with their permit cards because they have to have
Okay.
letters of recommendation. And it's very overwhelming because there's only a small amount of people that can do that to write letters or for these permit holders. But so
Mm-hmm.
it can get overwhelming because I get a lot of people emailing or calling about stuff like that.
I
And
imagine.
obviously, I'm not going to just write letters for everybody, but some of the stories, I promised myself I will at least make every effort to communicate with these people because I had people never call me back, not give me the time of day,
Mm-hmm.
nothing. And I'm like, okay, I'll at
Yeah.
least look at their portfolio and see what they have. They might not be ready, but I'll at least, you know,
Right.
I'm determined to change the whole good old boys club that this is closed. This is, you can't come in because you don't know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Teach those people so then that they know what they're doing is how I see it. Like give
Yeah.
them an opportunity, show them the ropes, show them where it is to be safe and to stand in the arena or you don't do this or you don't you stay out of the way of the judges and stuff like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not fair just because you didn't grow up in this industry that you don't get to do it. There's some
Right.
amazing photographers out there and they can help the sport.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way I see it anyway. I know not everybody agrees with me on that, but that's okay. We can all
And
agree to
that's okay.
disagree. Yeah.
That's right. We can all have our own opinions. And
Yes.
I think the fact that you want to, help others in ways that you were helped or not helped, I think that speaks a lot to your character. And the fact that you keep mentioning for the good of the industry and to support the industry, like that's in my mind, like if it's for the good of rodeo, why wouldn't people who are invested in rodeo be for it?
Right. Yeah, that's how I see it. I don't know. I think some people feel like it's hurting the industry bringing newer people in, but I think that's where we need to step in and train those people correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that I think that's the failure is just shutting them out and saying you don't know what you're doing. is
Mhm.
not helpful to anybody.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I just think that, I know people don't have time and they're busy, and I understand. I'm one of the only ones, there's not very many of us that are moms of young kids in this
Mhm.
industry, that are photographers in this industry.
Yeah.
So I know, I know it's hard
Right.
to run your business and run a family and have all sorts of things going on, behind the scenes. So
Mhm.
I do understand that. Um, I tend to not share a lot on social media about my family. I kind of like to keep them in my own little bubble at
Mhm.
home. But
Yep.
um, yeah, it's, I don't know. I just think there's room for growth in the industry for
Mhm.
sure.
Yep. I love that. I love that. Um, Talk a little bit about how you got into or started posting TikToks.
Oh
Because
gosh, my kids made me do it, really.
really,
I was a lot about it. I was like, that's one more thing for me to do.
hmm
Um, that's the hard part, is keeping up with all the social media stuff.
hmm
But I was just like, I was overwhelmed with it. I'm like, I don't even know. And they're like, Mom, you need to do this one. This one's trending. They don't have TikTok, but they'll look it up online and then
yeah,
show me. And they're like, you got to do this one. I'm like, and one of the first ones they had me do was this switch one. And so you're like, it wasn't an easy one, of course, what they were having me try out. And it probably took me, a half an hour to do this dang TikTok. And I was like, if this is going to take me this much time to do everyone. But it turned out pretty cool. And then I ended up having one that kind of just went kind of viral. No, I don't
hmm
want to say viral, but it just, for me, it had a lot of
yeah,
views on it and just kind of blew up overnight. And um, I posted one the other night that was just silly. I was just giving my buddy a hard time, and those old, I think it was Bud Light commercials that were like, "Here's to you, Mister,"
yeah,
and it'd be some random thing, and
yeah.
so I had literally, it was a video I had taken at the rodeo of a breakaway roper, but then I
hmm
saw that he was pushing the calf out. And so I filmed it with my phone and like
hmm
zoomed in on him pushing the calf out. And then I made this TikTok and said, "Here's to you, Mr. Calf Pusher Outer Guy."
Yeah,
And I put little beer cheering on there. Oh my gosh, it's already has like, I don't know, like 16,000 views or something. And
that's
I
awesome.
posted it the other night, and it was, a video of my video. And I was
Yeah,
like, I did not, you never know with TikTok what's going to happen. But
for sure.
yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
saw that one. It was
funny.
funny. Like
Yeah.
I love your TikToks actually.
It's
Because I
usually
think,
last minute, just
but
trying to
I
figure
think
out something to post.
it's a really, I think you do a really good job of like showcasing your work, but in like rapid fire succession. And so it immediately makes you like, oh, I got to see more. I want more of
Yeah.
what she's posting. So I don't know. I'm
Just
no
don't take
TikTok
me too
expert.
seriously if you follow me on TikTok. I mean, it does. I am just a big dork anyway, but it just shows a lot more of my personality
hmm
and not my like professional side. I'm not professional on TikTok at all. That's for
Well,
sure.
it's you're a human and you
I
show
like to
it
have
there,
a
which
good time. Yeah.
yes, I
Yeah,
love it.
I always said, if I'm going to be away from my family and working like on the downtime, I'm going to have a good time while I'm out here and enjoy my friends. And,
hmm
when I'm home, I'm a homebody. I barely, we go and do the kids' activities
hmm
and we're home. So I don't really go out and do anything. But if I'm gone away from home, I'm not going to just sit in my camper or sit in the hotel room.
Yeah,
But I am social, so it's fun. I get to meet so many people, and
I can
there's
imagine.
a lot of great people in the industry, and I've
hmm
people that I consider family and would do
hmm
anything for. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
Um, I think it was your one of your posts on Facebook today was kind of one of those behind the scenes telling the story pictures, right? So
yes.
talk a little bit more about like what your vision is for your coffee table book. Because I think when we were talking backstage, like those two are kind of
Yes.
related.
Yeah. So I feel like there's so much more that goes on that people don't get to see.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them I posted, I think I posted yesterday of rodeo clown JJ Harrison. He, I've gotten to travel with him and his family quite a bit
Mm-hmm.
and do some behind the scenes with them and kind of document and just see that. And they have a little girl that gets to travel with them. There's some older kids, but the little one, travels with them. And, that day we had finished this, been at rodeo all day long and got into the trailer and he just was like, just sat down, taking his sweaty jersey off, sitting there, getting his cleats off and, Roxy's over there, this little one playing and he's like, I miss you. I miss you. They're playing.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's talking to his wife about the show and how he thinks he could have done better, or what he could have changed, or how he thinks, things went. And then all of a sudden it's little knock, knock, knock at the trailer door. And he's like, and they open up, JJ, 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 and there's little kids there and they've got, can we get an autograph? Can we get a hat? And it's just, and he's like, sure, guys, and it just, he doesn't skip a beat. He's there and he'll talk to him, and then he'll be like, all right, well, I'm going to get changed out, and then the door closes and 2 minutes later, knock, knock, knock. JJ, my friend wants one too,
Yeah.
Oh, okay, guys, and that part of it and showing, it doesn't stop for these guys. They're, going down the road, and it's the athletes too. They'll be out there, and some of the ones that are the bigger athletes, they'll have little fans out there that'll spot them, and that's pretty cute. But I just really want to showcase the being on the road and them coming back to their families after being gone for a few days, and their little kids running up to them and getting to hug them, and then there's also tears when they're leaving, and having to leave their family. And sometimes I posted one today of Coburn Bradshaw. He's had his two little guys back behind the chutes, just sitting, in the area where the cowboys get ready, and he's just sitting there and they're just talking to him and playing with him. And he's getting ready to go and compete for some big money, but he's back. He's got his boys with him, and, kind of backstory. I saw when he was back getting ready to ride, he's up on the back chutes and his kids are just wrestling in the dirt, and he just turns over and grins and he sees them, they're fine. They're not hurting anybody, but they're just back there, he kind of keeps an eye on them and go. And then, all the guys though are there trying to help him out too with the boys, and people don't see that. And I just kind of want to tell more of that story and the countless hours on the road and them, going out and meeting people. And I don't know. I think there's just so much more to it. And I'd like to interpret more of not even just in the rodeo world, even like the music industry, like of being on the road and being away from your family and all the stuff that goes into it. It's not just them being on stage and performing and going home, so I just more of kind of just like an on the road type of book, and hopefully in black and white is my goal. And yeah, I'm going to spend July, hopefully, just hopping in with people for a couple days at a time. And I will be just documenting as much as I can on the road and trying to get as much content as I can. So as long as they take me in, I will be on the road most of July. Who knows where. I'm going to plant my pickup probably close to an airport, and then kind of just hop in. And so that when I need to get back, I'll, if I need to go somewhere, I'll probably just be hopping places or go from, at one rodeo. And when I'm done traveling with one group, find somebody there like, hey, can I follow you guys around for a couple days and crash with you for a few days? And so there's a few people that said they're interested, and so we'll see how it goes.
Very cool. I think that sounds like such a neat experience to do, but also I can see the end result being just super impactful. Like to see that story told from your perspective of, having that storyteller's eye, and now the experience in the rodeo world, I think that could be super duper cool.
Yeah,
So,
I hope so. If you know somebody who's in the publishing industry, send them my way
well,
that wants to.
I was just thinking, and I think I actually know people.
Oh, well, there you
Not
go.
not
Yeah.
exactly maybe in that specific niche or niche, however you want to say it,
Yeah.
but you know, somebody who knows somebody, and
Right.
I I want to say I do know somebody in the publishing world, so I'm gonna write that
Yeah.
down so I can remember to think about it
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I think, that's the hardest part is finding somebody to help back you and do that it's a big project and it's
Mm-hmm.
not going to be cheap to do it. And trying to figure that out and, finding sponsors, these guys find sponsors to help them up and down the road. And
Mm-hmm.
I was just talking to somebody about that this weekend, how I'm like, yeah, I need to find sponsors because, I can have sponsors on my shirt as well. And I'm in the arena more
Mm-hmm.
than most of the people there. But just helping get, building some kind of partnership with some people, it would be
Mm-hmm.
awesome. And so that's kind of my next step too, is I need to kind of be reaching out, but I'm not good at on that part of it. Someone's like, yeah, you probably just need like a manager or agent person that's doing that stuff for you. And I was like, yeah, probably, because I'm not good at that part of it, but
Well, maybe
it's
we
a
can
little
find you somebody.
overwhelming. Yeah,
I
there you go.
imagine it sounds like it's a big undertaking, but I can see the end being so valuable and worthwhile that it's,
Yeah,
an undertaking that's worth doing.
right. And there's not a lot of, there's more now, but, females in this industry
Mm-hmm.
is, haven't really been very many. And, but now there's, definitely more and more coming, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But, um, well, for NFR 2020, when they had it in Texas, when they had to move it to
Mm-hmm.
Texas, myself and Elena Stengel, it was the first time there was two females in the arena shooting the NFR, so that was kind of cool.
Very
We were the
cool.
first, yeah, female duo because they select four photographers, two in the arena, two behind the scenes,
Mm-hmm.
and so we were. It was the first time it was the two of us that we know of that we've been told. So yeah, so it
Very
was pretty
cool.
neat. But
That is awesome. That is awesome. Speaking of sponsors, do you have any that you need to like or want to shout out while you're on
yeah,
here?
yeah. I have a Resistol slash Charlie One Horse.
Mm-hmm.
They have kind of helped me out from the very beginning, so um, they've been awesome. And then Kimes Jeans.
Okay.
So I have a discount code, I can pop up there later and look
Heck yeah.
up if anybody wants them to check out some Kimes jeans.
I've never seen them or wore them, but I've heard people talk a lot about them. So,
They're durable, which I love because I tend to lay in the dirt, be rolling around the dirt quite a bit. So, climbing over things, and it's nice to have something is not going to like rip apart.
mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm gonna say hi to Christina real quick. Hi, Christina. Thanks for being here.
Hello.
Um, yeah, I think it's one of your videos where you put your hat on like this.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's probably like the me in
Rest
60
in
seconds
peace to
one.
that hat. Yeah.
What
Yeah. Oh
happened to
yeah.
that hat?
Oh, we lost her in Texas.
Oh
I had a
no.
little hat clip, this magnet hat clip, and we had it on my case, on my camera case. And
Mm-hmm.
it was the end of the night of one of the, NFR performances, and we were exhausted. Or I think we're leaving the arena around 11 o'clock at night, 11:30, and me and my assistant Lainey were just running across the street, and we're going, and we get over there, and then all of a sudden get back to the car, and we're like, where's the hat? We lost
Oh
the hat.
no.
And we, of course, when we got there, like some concert or something had just ended. So there was like traffic and all that. I was like, either somebody picked it up or it got ran over. But
Oh,
yeah, that was like one of my favorite hats and lost it. I'll have to see
bummer.
if I can get another one like that. But
Yeah, 'cause
yeah.
I love the hat band on it too. That was
Yeah,
like the
exactly.
thick
Yeah,
leather
it's a little
one.
punchy one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, darn. Well, I'm in the market for a new hat, so
Oh,
I'll
there you
have to
go.
try and get one. Because I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I like her hat. I want a hat like that.
Yeah. Like I can send you in the right direction.
Perfect. I love it. I love it. So, what about, are there any other like rodeos that are iconic that you have your eyes on to shoot? Or are you like
Um,
good?
I would love to shoot Cheyenne.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that would be that would be one I've always wanted to shoot. Um, I think it would be neat to go up to Calgary, shoot
Mm-hmm.
Calgary. That would be a really cool one to do.
Those
Um,
are the two that I had in my head that I was wondering
yeah,
about.
yeah. Even just to go and
Mm-hmm.
watch it there, I think would be fun to experience. Which I have gone. I'd say like since I've been shooting rodeo, I've only gone and like watched a rodeo now maybe twice since then,
Yeah,
and it definitely is very weird for me.
I
And
bet.
I have to say I've gotten very spoiled with having a front row kind of
Mm-hmm.
view to things now.
Yeah.
And I took it for granted for a hot minute, and I realized when I went to like a concert or something and I was like, I'm paying for these seats, and I, well, I was just like, I was like, wait a minute, I'm used to being right up in the front row taking pictures of it because a lot of rodeos will have, artists come out and play,
Mm-hmm.
shows afterwards, and I've gotten to see some pretty neat concerts right front row, and
Yeah.
we normally get to take pictures of like the first three songs, and um, so, but normally we could put our gear down and hang out afterwards, and so you get really spoiled. And even in the rodeo, I'm right there. I'm in the dirt or on right there at the dirt or on the back of the chutes. And so
Mm-hmm.
then when you go to a different kind of event and you don't have that access, it's like, oh, wait a minute. Like I've gotten really spoiled.
Yeah.
So you definitely forget that you're just, you know, usually can just walk right up to things. And
Mm-hmm.
um, like Jody, she was my assistant in the first year, and I remember it
Mm-hmm.
was so funny. We had our passes, and the Uber driver was like, "Oh, we can't." He was dropping us off for the performance for NFR, and he said, "Oh, I can't take you right there." They said all of us we have to drop everybody off over there, and we're like, "Well, we're media, we have all this equipment." And then I said, "I have this pass," and he's like, "Well, we'll try it." He said, "We'll try." So we're going around the corner, and the attendant's like, "No, no, no," and he's like, "She's got that pass," and I showed it to him. They're like, "Oh, okay, go ahead." And he's like, "Oh, she's got the gravy. She's got the gravy pass." And so Jody likes every time she's like, we go somewhere when I'm shooting rodeo and she's with me, and I'll just wave my pass. I'm like, "Oh, okay, come on, come on through." And Jody's like, "We got the gravy. We got the gravy." And I'm like, don't get too excited because this is the only place I get to get us into places.
That's
But
awesome though.
yeah, it's pretty funny. So yeah, get the gravy pass and you're good to go.
Gravy pass. That's
Yeah.
good. That is
Hmm.
good. I love it. I love it. What is, so like I'm curious, that for that college professor who told you like that'll never happen or you'll never do that, like,
Hmm.
does he know what you're doing now?
I don't think so. And I believe he's still teaching at the school. And I've had so many people like, you need to write him a letter or show him what you've done and your accomplishments.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know, I think he was going through a hard time in his life at that point, and he just kind of was a little bitter. I don't know, but and
Yeah.
I'm sure he does not even remember telling me that. He told me I think it was like 80% of the students, or 85% of the students that graduated with their photography degree weren't even going to use it,
Mm-hmm.
and then the ones that were left were going to be doing like portraits or, you know, nothing
Yeah.
crazy. And I was like, you know, like, I might for a little bit, but I'm gonna shoot sports. Like I want to do extreme
Yeah.
sports. So
Yeah. I liked Mark's suggestion. Send him a
yeah.
sign print from the NFR. Like, thank
Yeah.
you for inspiring me to do more with my
Yes.
degree and my career.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
for
But
sure.
yeah,
God
I'm
bless.
I'm sure it helps me, you know, drive me.
Hmm.
So it's all right. It all
That's
meant
good.
was meant to happen, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I love it. And I just love your attitude and perspective on things. And um, so yeah, it's obviously I'm biased, but you're pretty awesome. So
Well, so are you.
um I'm trying to think of what else. There was something else I had in mind for us to talk about or to ask you, and my mind is completely blank now.
Well, I've gone
Um,
off topic a million times, so
well, that's okay. I don't think you ever really go off
I
topic because
feel
it's
like
all related and
okay.
intertwined somehow.
I'm just a
It's
hot
all
mess
good.
most of the time, so yeah,
Hey, you're human. I
I'm
think
just
that
here
makes
for
you
it.
normal. We can't all be 100% all the time.
Yeah.
So,
Those people, I mean, Julie knows because she knows me, but that don't know me, like I do not like being on this side of the camera at all. So this is a big step for me. Like when I get asked to do a podcast or an interview, like it makes my stomach hurt. Like I'm just like I don't get anxiety, but I feel like it might get anxiety when I think about it. I'm just like, okay. And I don't know why. I mean, I know I just, you know, talking to you, but I don't know.
mhm.
Just feel like a mess.
No.
That's
Well, I
okay.
think you're doing great. It's fine. You're good. And again, I thank you for coming on. What so do you still shoot Moses Lakes Rodeo?
I do. Yeah, they are one of my um, rodeos that I have on my schedule. It'd be very hard for me not to shoot. You know, I'd have to be hired for a good amount to leave the hometown rodeo just because it's
Mhm.
just nice to be home, especially it's kind of a good little break too where it's at because it's during one of my really busy runs where I'm just constantly on the road. I'm home for a couple
Mhm.
days on the road, home for a couple days on the road. August and September are basically like that for me.
Mhm.
And so it kind of helps break it up where I get to be home. It's not far from my house, so
Yeah,
it's nice. So
that's good.
yeah, I got asked to this last year to shoot another rodeo during this time. I'm like, ugh. I was like, I can't. But and it's a rodeo that I would
Yeah.
love to shoot too. So it's hard to have to turn down rodeos, but that's a good position to be in. So
Yeah. Absolutely. So if anybody who's listening or watching has connections with rodeos and want to work with you, how do they go about that?
they can contact me off of my website, it's rosannasales.com. Um,
Okay.
and yeah, I I'm always open. I travel all over the place, so and I think too, I was talking to someone. I don't want somebody to think that all I can do is shoot rodeo.
Mhm.
I really wanted to like buckle down and really focus on getting my name in the industry just because I did not grow up in this industry. I don't have,
Mhm.
you know, my family wasn't not in it. So I came in and people are kind of like, who are you? And so I felt like I really needed to dedicate myself to rodeo if I wanted to do well with it.
Mhm.
And not have a lot of distraction. But now I feel like I've gotten myself, you know, a good foundation where I have the rodeos that I shoot.
Mhm.
I'm always up for, you know, opening to new rodeos, but I can also shoot other things as well. So like um actually next weekend I'm going to go shoot a drag race and
Oh,
go
cool.
help with some video. Yeah, so I'll be doing some video and do a drag race in Boise next weekend. So I'm really excited for that, and that'll be something new for me. But I'm like anything with action and
Mhm.
movement, like I'm in. I'm like put me in a helicopter, put me, you know, I'll go wherever. So I just love a little bit of the adrenaline rush going on,
Mhm.
and you know, I think I have one of my taglines on one of my social media is like capturing people do things I wish that I was cool enough to do. That's basically what I like doing. You know, it's like I wish
Yeah.
I was that cool to do that, but I would need to be wrapped in bubble wrap in order to do that. So I'm just gonna photograph you and make you look really cool doing it. So
Yeah. That's
yeah.
perfect. I love it. Yeah, there's a lot of those extreme sports that it's like, man, I wish I could do that.
Yeah. Like
Have
that'd be really neat.
What about snow shots, like snow sports? Have you ever shot snow sports?
Um, we talked about me doing a little, is it ski, what do they call it? When they were like pulling them on the horses and
Oh, yeah, like skijoring or something like
yeah, I
that?
forget what they call it. Yeah. So that's something that was up in the air before I was working another job, so I couldn't go when they were asking to hire me for it. So I'm
Mhm.
hoping this next January, February, I might be able to do that. I talked to a couple of my buddies. They were talking about having me come out and do they do snowmobiling like way out up in the mountains. I was like, that
Mhm.
would be cool to get some shots like that and video, and I think that would be really fun doing something like that. But it's like you can get me there, right? Because then I'm like, I'll probably just be stuck in a spot for a second, and then like don't expect me to get too crazy. But,
Yeah.
you know,
Just get me
so
there and get me home.
yeah, exactly.
That's cool. Very
Yeah,
cool.
I'm pretty up for anything for the most part, but it's I don't know. I think there's just so much opportunity out there,
Mhm.
and I don't want to limit myself. But at the same
Yeah.
time, there is a lot in this industry that I can do still.
Mhm.
Um, so I don't know. I'm just excited to
Yeah.
see what this book thing does. I hope I can
Mhm.
find somebody to back me on it and really do a cool book because I think a lot of these guys in this industry deserve that.
Mhm.
It's, like they say, a dying breed, the cowboys. But
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. I love the idea of the book. Like I can see that being amazing and a really,
there's
really cool
one
project.
picture I took on my phone, and I'm
Mhm.
really hoping it's quality enough to be able to put in my book because it's one of my favorite images.
Mhm.
But we had all, went to the rodeo, all that stuff, and a group of us went over to the bar afterwards. And we were waiting for they have this cowboy taxi that takes you back to the grounds afterwards. So
Mhm.
we're all just standing outside waiting, and there's this mural. This was in Red Bluff, California. And there's a mural on the wall of this, bucking horse and all that. And one of the guys just goes up to the wall, and he's just looking at the mural. And so there's this silhouette of this cowboy,
Mhm.
and it's black and white, and you see this mural lit up, and it's at night, and and it says Palomino Room, and it just the way it is, and I'm like, it's one of my favorite pictures. But
Yeah.
I took it with my phone because that's how where we
Yeah.
were. But I'm like, oh, I hope it's good quality to be able to print in my book, or it's got to go in there. So I just thankfully phones are a lot better now, but it's that
For
kind of
sure.
behind the scenes stuff.
Mhm. Yeah. I love it. Um so Shannon said you've done well on your video. So thank you,
Oh,
Shannon.
thank you.
Um So I had asked you earlier about some of your favorite pictures. You sent me several, and I just grabbed a couple of them. Do you want to go through those and kind of talk about like what the story was on each of those?
Sure, we'll see if I remember the story of them.
Okay.
uh,
Let me
that
turn my overlay
looks
off.
like Tilden Hooper, and he's pickup man's getting him off. I don't know, exactly what happened on that ride, but this is at
Hmm.
the NFR in Texas.
Very cool.
He's known for his hair, his lovely locks.
Yeah.
That's Roscoe Jarbo, bull rider, one of my really great friends, and yep, at NFR at the Texas in Arlington.
Hmm. I think it's funny. I've noticed in so many of your pictures, it looks like either the horse or the bull is like, I see you, lady. I see you taking my
Yeah.
picture.
Oh yeah. Steer wrestling. So that one, I believe. Um, so there are, if you don't know the sport of rodeo and steer wrestling, there's a hazer as well. So
Hmm.
on his right hand side, there's a guy pushing that steer in towards him on a horse as well. Um, so I like to try and get all different angles of steer wrestling, and it can be
Hmm.
pretty challenging um, to
I
get
imagine.
those shots. But yeah, I don't know. I just that power of that horse coming through. I
Hmm.
just love that. I you can see that horse loves what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's
And I
like,
love how his
this is
ears
my
are pinned
moment.
back.
Yeah, he's
Yeah. He's just
just
like, let's do this.
yeah. I
I love
I
it.
just love showing the not just the cowboy athletes, but the
Hmm.
animal athletes too.
For
It's
sure.
just Pope. He I think that's the year he ended up winning the bareback riding.
Yeah. I love
Like
that picture.
Texas,
Like,
yeah.
I
So
love,
yeah.
like, on so many of your pictures I see, like, you're just great at capturing the emotion, like, in the moment. And I think
Yeah.
that's a great one right there.
Sometimes we get lucky and they're, looking at us or you,
Yeah.
you never know. But and that's the thing about having, another photographer is you don't know if, that animal can go and buck the total opposite way that it normally goes. And
Hmm.
um that's a whole nother thing I'm trying to be better about is kind of learning the stock more.
Okay.
A lot of times they're kind of known to buck over to the right or do this,
Hmm.
and so I'm trying to learn that part of it so I can kind of anticipate more of where that animal is going. So that's a whole other homework lesson for me.
Very cool.
But
Yeah. I think there's a lot more to it than just taking pictures.
oh yeah, for sure.
So,
And like someone asked, like, which eye do you shoot with? Like, or how do
yeah.
I actually shoot with my left and I watch with my right. Like, I make sure I don't get ran over with my right hand
Hmm.
side. But so I keep because they're like, you keep your eyes open, and I like both eyes open. I said, yeah, because I watch for incoming traffic on this side,
Yeah.
because I can see here in front of me, and then I'm kind of peripheral vision, just watching to make sure, I don't have an animal coming at me this way or
Right.
somebody or whatever. But it's something I didn't even realize I was doing until somebody
Hmm.
asked me, and I was like, oh, I guess, yeah,
Yeah.
different stuff like that you just kind of pick
No
up
kidding.
on.
So,
But,
on an average performance, how many pictures do you take?
depends if I'm shooting with strobes or not. If I'm shooting with strobes, lights, you know, probably around 200, 300. If not,
Okay.
it depends on the rodeo, but if they have all the events,
Hmm.
I can shoot usually about 500 to 700 images, depending on
Hmm.
what I'm doing. Because sometimes um, I know I'm trying something that's outside the box, and I know like I might be able to get this shot. I might miss it and it
Hmm.
not work. Like I have an idea. So there's sometimes I'll have to shoot more than I normally would. I don't
Okay.
like to just push my trigger down. It's just hard on your equipment, and I feel like it's not me really getting. It's just pushing through. I don't want to
Hmm.
do that. I want to get what I'm trying to get and get my timing right.
Yeah.
And then you just end up with so many pictures that way. So I try not
Yeah.
to.
It's a lot more to
Um,
sort through on the back end for you.
yeah, yeah, just a lot more time later. So I try just to get what I want. Um, I've gotten better at that, and then sometimes I'll have another camera body set up where
Hmm.
there's days I don't do it too often, but I have done like a remote camera on another
Hmm.
spot where I'm just pushing a trigger and like I get my focal spot set and hoping that when they get to that spot and I have this picture in mind and I'm pushing a button to try and get that while I'm still managing another cameras with me.
Okay.
So it gets a little
That's a
crazy.
lot.
Yeah. Or I
It's a
try to
lot.
do a video with one camera and pictures with another camera, and I probably look
Yeah.
like a crazy woman I'm sitting there laying in the dirt and I'm putting rocks underneath my lenses trying to get it just right so I can push the play, push record
Yeah.
to get this because I want to get that barrel horse wrapping around, but I want to get that shot. So I'm like, here, and like, I'm sure people are just like, what is this lady doing?
That's
But
how she gets the good ones, is because she does what nobody else does.
it's just like my brain is just like, oh, I wish I had another one of me because I want somebody right
Mm-hmm.
there, and that's the
Right.
biggest struggle.
Yeah.
But I think that's my mama.
That's your mama. We are so proud of her too. We
I
are
know,
so
yes.
proud.
Yeah.
Yes. So believe it or not, we are now over our hour mark.
Oh my goodness.
So you did it. You did it.
We made it.
So
Shocking. I talked
awesome.
a
Well,
lot.
this was so good. I'm so glad you decided to go ahead and come on live with me and talk about your photography and your journey. And I'm so excited to hear about your coffee table book and what that project is going to look like. And I swear I know I have somebody in my network who's involved in publishing. Like, I just know it. I'm sure I do.
That would be awesome because I don't. Not that I
And
know of. If
mhm.
anybody, if I do, that'd be, let me know.
And if I
But
don't, I'm sure I know somebody who knows somebody. So this is the
yeah,
power of networking. We will
yeah,
find somebody to hook you up with.
for sure.
So again, if you want to work with Roseanna, go to her website. I did spell it right, didn't I? RoseannaSales.com.
Yep, you did.
Okay. Work with Roseanna. It is still my goal to get you to Oklahoma. I never
Yes.
seem to be in the room with people who have that kind of influence, but it's always in my head. I gotta get her to Oklahoma because
Well,
so many
hopefully
times,
I'll be doing a little shoot out there this summer, hopefully. So
fingers crossed.
yeah,
Fingers
we'll
crossed.
see. We'll
Because
see.
there's been too many times you've been in the same time zone, and I'm like,
I
how many
know.
hours of a drive is that?
I know. We'll make it work. Maybe
We'll
this
make it
summer
work.
with my book. So we'll see.
Yes, that would be
Yeah.
amazing. There's lots of,
You never know where I'll end up with that. So yeah.
that'd be amazing.
I need to
So we'll
learn
make
how
it
to crack
happen.
light.
Yes,
That's my goal.
I'm not good at that.
Yeah,
Not
no, me neither.
Not one bit. Not one bit. But it's so funny. So, well, thank you, Roseanna, for everybody who is here watching tonight. Thank you for being here. I will be live again next Tuesday, which is the 17th, I believe. Yes, May 17th. I'm going to have my sister-in-law, Katie, on with us.
Oh,
She
good.
has, she's a recruiter by day, but she also has a traveling petting zoo and recently acquired a wallaby.
Oh my gosh.
So she is going to come on and talk about her, journey with turning animals from just being pasture ornaments and pets into being a pretty successful petting zoo endeavor. And who knows what else we'll talk about. So mark your calendars for next week. And if you want to hang out a second, I'm going to hit the end stream button and we will see you guys all next week. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.